Good morning, everybody. How we doing today? I hope everybody's doing well. It is Monday morning. Most of you guys are getting ready to go to work, and man, I just lost my phone clip. All right, here we go. Good, good morning. It's 6:20 in the morning, and I'm off to pick up my wife from work, and I got about an hour drive ahead of me. Just me and my youngest, and I'm gonna take you along for the ride. A little road trip planned for y'all. So stop by get some coffee. Hi, good morning. What can I get started for you? I can get a venti caramel macchiato, hot. A venti caramel macchiato. I'm sorry, what was that? I'm sorry, that car was really loud. Yeah, I know. A caramel macchiato, please. Yeah, hot venti. Hot venti, yes, yes, ma'am. Is that gonna be all? That'll be it. 565. Thank you. Really loud motorcycle just came by. Yeah, we got about an hour drive, so figure let me try to record something on the road, and hopefully everything turns out. Hopefully the sound is okay, and yeah, we should be fine. Got my Bluetooth on, so we trying to see how the sound goes. And again, I know there's a lot of things killing us right now. Bluetooth is one of them, but I really do need it. I don't need it. Just makes things easier, you know. Hey, morning. 565. So today, I woke up and man, I forgot the channel's name. I woke up and I was listening to some of his stuff this morning. He covers 435. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you. All right, thanks. Uh, he covers quite a bit, and you know, one of the one of our truthers, and he likes to break down film and show all the numerology and the code. He like it's called decoding, I guess. He decodes the videos or movies, and he did Mario Brothers, the old Mario Brothers from the early '90s with John Leguizamo, and I don't know who's the guy that played Mario. Um, but he started talking about one of the things on there was, he's breaking down all these, he's making all these connections, breaking down all these nuggets, and one of them was about portals. And so it got me to thinking about portals and spiritual entities. Now, you may not believe in portals, but I think that a lot of people are turned off by it. However, you might believe in it, you're just in a different form. It's probably just a verbiage that we use when we say portals, and people think about those, circle portals that people jump through and end up somewhere else. Um, that we see in the movies, and a lot of people go, those ain't real. Um, yeah, it is. It's just you might think of it as something else. Who knows how spirits roam this earth and how they get from one place to another, or from the spiritual realm to the physical. It may just be portals. They don't just phase through. It's just, we call it something else, something different than what you might believe. You know, and if they are present, who's to say that they are present all the time? Maybe they phase through their world and ours, and it could be through these things that we call portals. Um, and so, you got to kind of be open minded to verbiage for anything that we talk about in the truth community. So, um, today is a positive talk and is an encouragement to anyone who wants to listen. And it's about spiritual food. Now, when I talk about spiritual food, I'm not talking about how you might hear it in your sermon at church about feeding yourself and your soul and encouraging oneself and reading some good word to keep thyself encouraged and upright and strong. Um, that means all I believe in all that. But today I'm talking about the spiritual food that you might offer those entities that are out to do you harm. I'm talking about the devil and his minions, demons, demonic forces, all of the above. And there's all these names for the jinn, the Rephaim, descendants of the Nephilim. There's all things, all kinds of things that we call these ghosts and spirits, these evil entities that are out for you. And most of you that listen to me know and understand that there is truly an enemy out there. And it is a spiritual enemy, not a physical enemy. And he shows through physical acts and physical circumstances that we might face. Remember the Bible says that what we face is not carnal, it's spiritual. So when things happen, like things in your family, like fights in your family, or illnesses, diseases, uh, when there's some sort of bondage, addiction, struggles in a marriage, struggles in a uh, parenthood, when people face situations, you ought to know that it's not just something physical going on here. There's a spirit behind it. Most of you understand this, okay? But what I feel that we must equip ourselves, some thoughts that we must have uh, constantly to keep ourselves equipped and to keep ourselves, to keep our guard up, right? 'Cause we got to keep on that armor of God. And part of the armor of God is the shield, right? And to me, that means you ought to come on, man. Why do people do this? It's so annoying. You're signaling to go to the left lane, right, or the lane next to you, and the person behind you figures that they can just jump into that lane and zip by you before you can, even though you're about 20 feet ahead of them and already signaling. You're already about to go into the next lane. And they go, I can do it faster than you. And just, zip right past you. Come on now. There's got to be some evil spirit on the road that keeps people driving stupidly. And also, spirit out there to make me angry, to where I might react, and that's not good. And I learned you ought to respond, not react. So that which ties into what I'm here to talk about today. Let's just jump into it. You've got to keep your emotions in check. Okay, you've got to keep your emotions in check. You've got to stay on top of things. You have to be aware, and just like how when you're driving, you have a speedometer in front of you, right? And that tells you, like, hey, this is how fast you're going. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, just to let you know, you're pushing the pedal a little too hard. There's a speedometer in front of you for a reason to tell you how fast you're going. Why? Because sometimes we could just be driving and not know how fast we're going. If it wasn't for the speedometer right here, uh, I'd be driving probably too fast, and you won't, if you didn't have anything to indicate, I mean, you'll just keep driving and driving and speeding up and increasing speed and not knowing that you might be going too fast, and the thing that we have things in place, because if the speedometer wasn't there to tell you that you're going too fast, then sure enough, Highway Patrol will pull you over and let you know that you're going too fast. And so, things are there for a reason. And we got to implement that in our spiritual life as well. And I'm tying this into the emotions, right? And so, emotionally, you need to keep a meter on yourself. Spiritually, you need to keep a meter on yourself. Okay? You need to let yourself know when you're going too fast, when you need to slow down. You need to tell yourself, hey, I'm kind of zipping through this. My emotions are just 0 to 60 really fast, or 0 to 100 really fast, and I ought to slow myself down. You know, there's something there. You got to keep something there to monitor yourself. And here's why. Not only is it good for you, right? You feel healthier, you feel better. You just feel more joy. You can experience life in a much better fashion. You can, truly recognize the blessings of God when you have your emotions under control, right? Not only do we feel better, okay, and of course we operate better when we feel better. We operate better when we see things better. When we have a better perspective. You operate better. I mean, tell me this: like when you are upset, don't you like lash out and do things out of anger and out of frustration? I know I do. Sometimes I might be upset with my wife and things that she's doing and saying, and I might take it out on the children. Or maybe I'm upset at certain things that people are doing, and I'm over here focusing on that. And as soon as somebody says dad or honey, I turn around and lash out on them. You know what I mean? And so that's why it is important for you to keep a meter on you so that you can operate better. I mean, it's true. When we are focused on some really negative stuff, we might end up, feeling a certain kind of way, and then in turn, treating someone else in a way they shouldn't have been treated, and that's not right. But it's more than this. Not only do we stay on top of our emotions, just so that we can operate better, we can feel better, and treat other people better. But here's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. One of the reasons why, and you might disagree with me on this. In fact, I can't think of a Bible verse exactly and at this time that can explain what I'm talking about here. But through my studies of information that we can find on the internet and wherever, and through life's experience, I find that our enemy seeks to keep us in a lowly state, or some might say in a low frequency, vibrating at a low frequency, right? Uh, Feeling upset, feeling tired, feeling frustrated, feeling sad, feeling hurt, feeling, you know, pain in the body and emotionally, and I can tell you, you can, when you're down, man, the devil can really just get on top of you, drag you further, drag you down more, make you feel worse about your situation, make you feel really bad. And that's why, I mean, it's a battle, the emotional status of yourself. That is a battlefield. You ought to know your heart's a battlefield, your mind's a battlefield. The enemy is after you and wants to kill you off, but more so wants you to just feel bad and terrible all your life and make you get all up in your emotions. Because when you're in your emotions, you don't operate right. You don't see the joy that God brings. You don't see the joy of this life, right? But when you're operating on that low level, when you're down and out, when you're experiencing all these terrible emotions, and maybe it might be because of the situation you're going through, right? We've lost some people in our family in the past couple of weeks, and it's terrible. It sucks, and people are really down, and that's exactly where the enemy wants. And let me tell you something. You might not agree with me on this, but I believe that these demonic forces are out to feed on that energy, feed on that negative emotion, that bad emotion, the feelings of sadness, being upset at your brother, hatred, unforgiveness, broken relationships. Our enemy is out there feeding on that emotion, right? There was someone who told me that in the spiritual realm, if you could see where these things hang out, the demonic forces, he says that he drove by a strip club and he noticed they were just hovering above the strip club. Why? Because there's all kinds of harbored feelings and emotions there. You know, I mean, those women aren't there just because they think that they're pretty and they can make that money. No, a lot of them got some issues going on. A lot of them have, you know, a lack of self-respect because of, the ways they've been treated by probably a father or mother figure. And people that go there are seriously lacking in love. And so there's just a cesspool of bad emotions. And that's why these demonic forces like to sit there on top of these strip clubs and just feed on that emotion. And so you got to keep it in check. You got to keep a meter on your emotions and see where you're at, and so that you can just keep it where it should be, and that is in a positive state, in a uplifted state, right? That you experience love, joy, happiness, that you see the life that God has blessed you with, and you understand. You'll be able to recognize all the blessings that God has bestowed in your life. You know, of the beautiful people that He's put in your way. Sorry, I just got out of bed and I want this coffee, but it's too hot. And so I want you to know that when the news puts out all this negative talk, which the majority of it is negative information, right? It is by design there to keep you sad and out and emotionally drained and frustrated. Like, look at this idiot of a president. Look at these people. What are they doing? What are they doing? Look at these people. Their crashes and chemicals and all kinds of stuff. It's there to keep you negatively charged. And I want you to know that as you sit there and just feed on that ugly news and have those negative vibrations and emotions, as you are down and out, the enemy is there to suck up all that energy and feed upon you. And so they want you in that state all the time. And I want to let you know today that we can stop feeding our enemy that spiritual food. We can stop giving them those emotions to eat, right? Because they want us down there. They want us really bad, and they thrive on that emotion, right? And so another reason why we ought to keep a meter on our spiritual emotions. Not only is it better and more conducive for you and your neighbors, but it'll stop feeding our enemies. You know what I mean? When things happen and trains are collide and buildings come down and people fall to natural devastation, it's all there to keep you sad and upset, and our enemy feeds on that stuff. And so when like Kobe Bryant was killed, which was what happened, all of LA felt the sadness. And I remember it. It was Sunday and we went or Saturday or something. But we went to church the following Sunday, and it was heavy. Everybody was talking about Kobe. The sermon was talking about Kobe. And I felt it too. And I was like over here knowing that it's some kind of a psyop, but still, our beloved Kobe Bryant here in LA, man, he passed away in a helicopter accident, or was killed in a helicopter accident, or murdered, whatever. Let me just say that everybody in LA felt that. And so there was some kind of spiritual buffet going on where all these entities were just there to feed off of LA. And LA gave it to them. LA cooked it up and served it hot. You know what I mean? And so when we go to national disasters, worldly disasters, now all the world is feeling that sadness. And everybody was feeding those enemies. And I want you to know every time you participate in the news and things that go on, these reports that we get in the news, you are feeding the enemy, and you're part of the problem. And I want you to wake up and snap out of it so we can fix this. So we can stop feeding our enemy the spiritual food. So we can stop operating on low frequencies. So we can start recognizing more and more and noticing the blessing that you have in life because you are truly blessed. All right. Thanks for listening today. I hope you enjoyed that. God bless you. And yeah, may you guys be safe. Get yourself a cup of coffee. Have a nice day today, y'all. Have a nice day. Read up on some truth. And just pray for one another. Pray for one another. Pray for me. I have a lot of things I need to get done, and I need some help. So pray for me. Love y'all.